the Skinwalker. A few days later, after midnight, Awena was driving through town on patrol. Suddenly, she saw something out of the corner of her eye. She stopped her car and reversed it to get a better look. A few feet away, someone had painted a large Navajo symbol against the side of a building with spray paint. Awena stared at the Navajo symbol, looking both inspired and terrified. The next day, Awena sat in her office at her desk. There was a file open in front of her. It was for Nez. He was a handsome but edgy-looking dude with long hair and tattoos. His criminal record wasn't very long, just a few busts for drug possession. Awena stared at his picture, wondering. Just then her phone rang. Awena glanced at the caller ID. It was Matt Chung.
Hey Matt, what's up?
Matt was calling from his motel room. He was staring out his window as police cars filled up the truck parking area.
You need to get over here. Stat! There's been a big development.
A short time later, Sheriff Awena arrived at the Chuck and Buck's truck stop. A small crowd, including reporters and news crews, had gathered in the parking area. The police had cordoned off the creepy trucker's semi. Officer Joel was taking down a statement from Jagon.
Easy there, Speedy. Let's go over your statement one more time.
As I told you for the 7th time, I opened the door and just found him, lying there in this pool of blood.
Sheriff Awena was escorted through the area by Captain Padilla, who was quickly briefing her as they walked.
The truck hadn't moved in a couple of days, so the station owner finally knocked on the cab door. No one answered, but it was half open, so he peeked inside.
Sheriff Awena peered into the open door of the semi. Lying on the bed in the sleeping area was the body of the creepy trucker. His throat was slashed, and the mattress was soaked with dried blood. There was a blood-stained knife in the dead man's hand. Awena noticed that there was a large, gaping wound on the creepy trucker's thigh. It looked like a chunk of flesh had been torn off. Just then, Agent Jones came up behind them.
Meet Leonard Henry Maltz, 45 years of age, unmarried, no children, born in Liberty, Kansas, lives in Phoenix now. Been an interstate trucker most of his adult life, no priors. At first it looked like a simple suicide. However, one of Captain Padilla's officers checked the glove box and found this.
Agent Jones held up a driver's license in a sealed evidence bag.
It's Cody Ross's.
Captain Padilla gestured to a portable table next to the truck. Evidence in bags had been spread across it.
When we searched the rig, we found these items hidden behind a panel.
Awena looked at the evidence on the table. There was jewelry, IDs, and women's underwear. She picked up a bag. Inside was a school ID. She recognized the girl in the photo. It was Mika.
That one belongs to the girl you found in the hills last week, correct?
Yeah.
Awena put the ID back down on the table. Padilla's men who were milling around the evidence table started chiming in.
So, turns out, this sick fuck was behind everything.
Appears that way.
Makes sense. He used his trucking gig as a cover to slip in and out of the area unnoticed.
Pretty crafty.
This might have been his favorite hunting ground, but most likely the perp was active across other states. We'll probably never get a full accounting of all of his victims.
Well, lucky for us, he self-deleted. Case closed. I'll take it.
A fucking man, brother.
Awena looked back inside the cab at the killer's prone body. She stared at the gaping wound on his thigh.
What about the leg wound?
Our forensic team determined that it's self-mutilation. Maltz had a mental breakdown and began cutting himself as he worked his way up to suicide.
Awena examined the leg wound.
That's not a knife wound. It's either a bite or a claw mark.
Agent Jones and Padilla were taken aback.
From an animal? You sure?
Well, the flesh has been torn away. The edges of the wound are serrated. Knife cuts leave clean, sharp edges.
What are you saying? That a coyote took him out?
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you what I see.
Agent Jones shook his head.
With all due respect, Sheriff, you're not a forensic expert. My CSI team is the best in the field. If they say it's a frenzied stab wound, it's a frenzied stab wound.
Well, the only way to be sure is to get a sample and test it for traces of animal DNA.
Thanks for the advice, Sheriff. I'll pass it along.
Agent Jones turned and walked away. Awena called after him.
Oh, can I get a copy of his trucking logs?
Agent Jones waved his hand in the air in a dismissive manner. Sure. Awena went back to the truck. Joel looked at the other officers and made a face.
What's her problem? We just caught the perp. She should be celebrating.
Captain Padilla just shrugged and shook his head.
She's been on the case too long. Let it go, Awena.
A day later, Awena was in her office, staring intently at a computer screen. It was displaying photocopies of the creepy trucker's trucking logs. Awena was cross-referencing the dates and places with the last known locations of the missing Navajo girls. Awena looked very disturbed. None of the info matched. There was a knock at her door.
Come in.
Matt Chung stepped in her office. He had a manila envelope in his hands.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
You see the story in the journal yet?
You write it?
No. They did take my notes, though. And then they gave the byline to one of the big shots in Metro.
Awena Googled the Albuquerque Journal on her computer and opened up the link. The front page had a headline, Ross Killer Caught. The subheadline continued, Serial killer believed to be behind the deaths of dozens of Navajo women. Awena shook her head, dismayed.
You have any comment?
On the record? No.
What about off the record?
Things don't add up.
How so?
I've been checking his trucking logs with the dates of the disappearances. Moltz was nowhere near this area when most of the Navajo girls went missing.
He could have falsified his records.
Oh, no. They're co-signed by officials at wait stations.
Matt thought about that. He was intrigued.
How do you explain all of the evidence that was found in his truck, then?
I can't.
You know, I'm kind of hardcore into conspiracy theories. Please don't judge me. So granted, I'm a wee bit biased, but it's possible someone killed Moltz and planted the stuff in his rig to throw off the investigation.
That's why I want to follow up on Charma's whereabouts. Did you find any leads on her properties?
Matt nodded. He held up his manila envelope.
As a matter of fact, I did. That's actually why I called. It wasn't easy, but I found a couple of places that probably belonged to her.
Let me see.
Matt teased the envelope, but he didn't give it to her.
We'd need to make a deal first.
I told you, I don't have a budget to pay you.
No. I don't want money, Sheriff. What I need is access. I want to ride along with you when you go out there.
Forget it. It's way too dangerous.
I'll take the risk. Look, I really need an exclusive story to get my own byline. Plus, I have to admit, this Skinwalker stuff is kind of obsessing me. It's got high-key Kolchak the Night Stalker vibes.
This isn't a game, Matt. Shadows are real, and they don't play.
Matt continued to withhold the envelope. Awena sighed.
Okay, fine. Deal. But you'll do exactly what I tell you to.
Deal.
Matt smiled and handed her the envelope. The next day, Sheriff Awena's patrol car made its way along dirt roads through the beautiful but rough high desert backcountry. Inside the patrol car, Awena drove. Deputy Arnell rode shotgun beside her. Matt Chung sat in the back seat. He was looking over police files on Charma and her son Nez, a.k.a. Bad Jimmy.
Charma's our prime suspect, but we need to keep an eye out for her son Nez. They're not on the best of terms, but they're still family. He might be able to tell us where she is.
I was friends with Nez back in high school.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we bonded over skateboarding and Call of Duty. but I kinda lost touch with him after he dropped out.
Any insights into his personality?
He's a loner. Loved smoking weed. Smart, but kinda weird.
Weird how?
He was all in with this occult stuff. Said his mom taught him black magic. He claimed he saw Charma bring a dead crow back to life once. I just figured he was talking shit up to get attention.
He ever talk about his relationship with Charma?
Yeah, sometimes. He was pretty bitter. He'd complain about how cold she was to him. He hated her for pressuring him to be a part of her crew. But I remember this one time, these dudes were teasing him about Charma being a witch, and Nez went apeshit. He beat the living shit out of him, but then he broke down crying. He definitely had an intense love-hate thing going with her.
How can you love a mother who's trying to turn you into a drug dealer?
She's all he had. To Dine, family is everything.
As she said this, Awena's mind drifted off to a painful memory 1 year ago. She was in the hospice room of the hospital. Her father, Odina, was lying in bed. He was on his last legs, his body wasted from cancer. Awena sat beside the bed, in tears. Odina motioned for her to come closer. He removed a necklace hanging from his neck. It was a Navajo symbol tied to a leather string. Odina handed it to Awena.
Take this, but don't keep it. Take it to the lake where we used to fish and bury it.
I can't do that, Dad.
You have to, Awena. If you don't, you'll carry the pain of losing me forever. You have to let me go.
Awena took the Navajo necklace from him as tears rolled down her face. As the sun rose high in the sky, Awena, Matt, and Arnell went to several isolated properties, wandering like nomads from place to place. There were small homes and abandoned trailers at some of these locations, but they looked like they hadn't been used in years. They found equipment that was used in meth and drug production scattered around, but it was weathered and falling apart. The skeletons of past sins laying half buried in the ground. But their search didn't turn up any living soul. They didn't see Charma or Nez. Awena looked frustrated. Matt was disappointed. As the sun began to set, they drove back to town, empty-handed.
It's getting late. We should head back.
I just want to stop by this last parcel out on Elk Run. It's on the way.
As twilight descended upon the desert, the blood-red sun looked like a smoldering ember as it sank beneath the horizon. Awena's patrol car approached an old ranch. The property was located in a secluded wooded area. It was surrounded by a rusty barbed wire fence. A metal gate blocked access from the road. Someone had mounted a large, half-rotted deer skull on the gate post. Awena stepped out of her patrol car and approached the gate with a pair of bolt cutters. She spotted something on the ground. She stopped and bent down. Deputy Arnell came up behind her.
See something?
Yeah, tire track. It's recent.
Awena went over to the gate and cut off the deadbolt block. The gate swung open with a rusty groan. They climbed back into the patrol car and drove through the gate. Matt eyed the rotting deer head as they passed by. He looked a little spooked. Gnarled black trees lined the road. Their branches hung down like twisted arms reaching out to grab them. Finally, they arrived at a run-down ranch house. At first glance, it looked abandoned like the other properties. Most of the windows were boarded up. But then, Awena noticed an old beat-up pickup truck parked off to the side. Awena parked her patrol car discreetly near the house. She turned to Matt.
Stay in the car and don't go poking around.
No problem there.
She handed him a walkie-talkie.
Take this. If you see or hear anything, alert me.
Awena and Deputy Arnell got out. They walked towards the house with their weapons drawn.
I'll go in the front, you circle around back.
Arnell nodded and started heading quietly towards the back of the ranch house. Awena went over to the front door. She pushed on it and discovered that it was slightly ajar. Awena peered inside. The interior of the gloomy house was dark, foreboding. Awena readied her weapon and her flashlight. She quietly slipped inside. Awena entered the house and shined her light around. She saw piles of clutter and junk. The place was clearly inhabited by a hoarder. Awena made her way around the piles of clutter. She heard scurrying sounds in the darkness. She whipped her light around to the source of the sounds, but saw nothing. It could have been rats, squirrels, or something else. Awena continued onward. She entered a junk-filled bedroom. The beam of her flashlight found strange symbols painted on the walls. On a nearby nightstand, Awena found bottles of meds. She checked the labels. The meds were prescribed for Charma, Yazzie. Awena recognized some of the medicines. They were for cancer treatment. Meanwhile, outside, Matt sat nervously in the back seat of Awena's car. He peered out at the house. He could see Awena's flashlight beam occasionally as she moved through the structure. He rolled down the window to get a better look. Suddenly, he heard a loud sound that startled him. Matt looked up and saw a crow perched on a tree branch above him. The black crow stared back at him, as if it was watching him. Matt looked back at the house. He caught a glimpse of what looked like a shadowy figure, staring back at him from out of a window. Matt did a double take, and the figure was gone. Matt got on his walkie-talkie.
Sheriff, I think I just saw something.
What?
It looked like a shadow moved by a window on the east side of the house. I don't have a good angle on it, though.
Just stay put, keep watching. Over.
Matt peered at the window, but he didn't see the shadowy figure again. His angle on the house was bad, though. Matt quietly unlocked the car door and stepped out to get a better look. Meanwhile, back in the house, Awena entered another bedroom. This one was less cluttered. From the decor, it looked like a man's space. On a table, Awena discovered an old photo. The picture showed Charma and her son Nez, aged 9. Next to it, Awena discovered a hypodermic needle and drug paraphernalia. Awena went over to an unmade bed and put her hand down on the mattress. It felt warm. Awena walked back into the hallway, and her foot crunched down on something. She shined her light to the floor and saw a small dead bird laying on the ground. It was wrapped in a bundle of sticks. Awena moved her flashlight beam across the floor. She saw more bundles of dead birds, leading off to a door. Awena went over to the door and quietly swung it open. She saw a flight of stairs leading down to a basement. Awena crept down the stairs, holding her gun in front of her. Her hands were trembling slightly now. Meanwhile, outside, Matt tiptoed towards the house, staring at the window where he saw the shadowy figure. Suddenly, he saw something moving inside the house again. He stopped dead in his tracks. At that moment, inside the house, Awena had arrived at the bottom of the stairs. She shined her light around the basement. Bundles of dead birds were scattered across the room. The walls and floors were covered with ancient Navajo symbols. A rotting deer carcass was lying in the middle of the room. It had been disemboweled, and its innards were laid out in a ritualistic fashion. Flies were buzzing around it. Just beyond the dead deer was a human body. It was lying inside a ring of small lit candles. Awena recognized the dead body immediately.
Charma.
There was a knife sticking out of her chest.
Jesus.
Just then, Awena heard footsteps creaking on the floor above her. At that moment, outside, Matt suddenly saw movement inside the house through a window. Just then, a shadowy figure came into view. To Matt, it looked like something with antlers, standing upright. Suddenly, a flashlight beam shined on the dark figure's face, but it wasn't a skinwalker. It was Deputy Arnell. He was peering out the window at Matt. There was a coat rack behind him that gave the appearance of antlers. Matt and Arnell made eye contact. Matt breathed a sigh of relief. But just then, suddenly, a dark figure leaped out of the woods behind Matt and grabbed him. Matt was able to twist free from his attacker. He fell to the ground and looked up. A young man in his 30s, with unruly hair and tattoos covering his bare arms, was standing over him. He had a knife in his hands and a crazed look in his eyes. Matt recognized him from the photo. It was Nez. He waved his knife at Matt.
No, dude, don't.
Nez suddenly lunged for Matt, but just then a shot rang out. A bullet struck the ground in front of Nez's feet. He stopped. Awena was standing in the doorway of the ranch house. She had her gun aimed at Nez.
Stop, Nez!
Nez stood frozen. He glanced at Awena with a look of confusion and vague recognition. He was high as a kite.
Drop the knife, or I'll shoot.
Nez swayed unsteadily on his feet for a moment, weighing his next move. Then he let go of the knife and let it fall to the ground. He raised his hands in surrender.
Get on your knees. Hands behind your head.
Nez kneeled down slowly. He tried to put his hands behind his head, but his eyes suddenly fluttered, and he collapsed in front of Matt, unconscious. Awena rushed forward and put cuffs on Nez. She shouted out to Arnell as he exited the house.
Arnell, grab the Narcan from the medikit in my truck.
Arnell rushed off to fetch the medikit. Awena looked at Matt. He looked completely overwhelmed.
You okay?
Holy shit!
Later that evening, at the sheriff's office, Nez sat in an interrogation room, shackled, behind a table. He was sweating profusely, agitated. Matt watched from another room through a two-way glass mirror. Awena sat across the table from Nez. Arnell was with her.
My skin feels like it's on fire.
It's the withdrawals, Nez.
If it gets bad, I can take you to the hospital.
No, it's not just the detox. It's something worse.
What exactly?
Nez shook his head and said nothing more.
I know you killed your mother, Nez. The knife has your prints all over it.
It wasn't my fault. She told me to do it. I tried to talk her out of it, but Mom kept pleading and pleading with me.
Charma was sick. She was dying of cancer. Was it euthanasia?
Nez shook his head again.
Then why?
Nez didn't answer.
Well, Charma looked like she'd been killed as part of a ritual. You want to talk about it?
I can't. You're not in the circle. It's forbidden. If I speak of it, my tongue will turn black and rot away.
Did you or Charma have anything to do with the missing girls?
No. Mom was trying to protect them.
Protect them? Doesn't sound like your mother.
You didn't know her. Mom was complicated. She had a code she lived by. She never went after other Tine unless they fucked with her first. She had nothing to do with the missing girls, but she figured out what was. She wanted to stop it, but the cancer had eaten her down to the bone. She was too weak, so she wanted me to do it.
Are you saying you know who the real killer is?
Nez nodded.
Tell me.
You wouldn't believe me. Even if I convinced you, you couldn't stop it. Only a Narloshi is powerful enough.
Are you one, Nez?
What do you care, Arnell? You don't believe in anything.
I'm just trying to understand.
I believe you. I know your mother was a Yinaldushi.
And how do you know that?
My father told me. And he never lied to me. Are you one too?
Nez and Awena stared at each other. He looked very agitated now.
You know how a person becomes a skinwalker. It can't be just anyone. You're born into it. It's in the blood. But even then, to truly claim the power, you have to...
Nez paused. His whole body started to tremble. Tears welled up in his eyes.
You have to kill someone in your family. Is that why you killed her?
Nez nodded.
Mom told me. Do it, Nez. I know I've been a terrible mother to you. Just take all that anger and pain you keep locked up inside your heart and let it go. The darkness will guide your hand. So finally, I opened up that damn cage, and all the hatred I ever felt towards her came pouring out of me like a black river. And I did it. I fucking did it. I buried that blade right in her heart. She didn't cry out. She just looked up at me and said, "Thank you." And then she said she loved me. It's the only time in my whole fucking life she ever said it. Now I carry her curse. I can feel it inside me, going stronger every hour. Oh God, someone help me.
Nez broke down, sobbing. Awena and Arnell looked at each other, wondering how much to believe. End of chapter 3. Stay tuned for the final episode of The Skinwalker.